Good evening, dear friend. My name is Mr. James Candlelight, and I'm honored to be here with you as the day comes to a close. Tonight, we journey to the edge of the world, to a place where land meets sea, where a solitary lighthouse stands, watch over an endless horizon. We will visit the village of Tide's End, a small fishing community clinging to rocky cliffs where the ocean's rhythm shapes every life, every heartbeat, every breath. There, you will meet Elias, an old lighthouse keeper who has tended the beacon for 40 years, a man who once lost everything to the sea and yet found a way to keep the light burning. This is a story about loss and remembrance, about letting go and holding on, about how even in our deepest grief, we can still be a light for others. Before we begin our journey to the coast, let us take a few moments together to prepare your body and mind for deep restorative rest. Settle in now. Get comfortable. Let's begin. I want you to imagine that you're standing at the shore. Your feet are in the sand, and before you stretches an endless ocean. The waves roll in and out, with a rhythm as old as time itself. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and with each number, you will release more tension, like the tide carrying away footprints in the sand. 10. Feel the surface beneath you, solid, supporting you completely. You don't need to hold yourself up. Let the bed, the floor, the earth hold you. Sink into that support now. Let yourself be carried. 9. Notice your body. Where are you holding tightness? In your feet, your legs, your lower back, perhaps in your chest, your shoulders, your neck, maybe in your jaw or your forehead. Just observe these places. Don't try to change them yet. Simply acknowledge, here is where I'm holding on. And now, like the ocean, smoothing rough stones, allow those places to soften. Let the tension wash away, wave by wave. 8. You are completely safe here. My voice is your anchor. Trust that I will guide you only to peaceful places, only to gentle shores. There is nothing to fear tonight, nothing to protect against. You can lower your defenses. You can rest. 7. Thoughts will come like seabirds circling overhead. They call and cry and demand attention. But you don't have to feed them. You don't have to follow them. Simply notice there is a thought and watch it fly away out over the water until it's just a speck on the horizon. Your mind can be as vast and calm as the ocean. Thoughts are just movement on the surface. Beneath, there is stillness, depth, peace. 6. This moment is a gift you're giving yourself. In a world that demands so much, you've chosen to rest. That is not selfish. That is wisdom. You deserve this peace. You deserve this comfort. Let yourself receive it fully now. 5. Peace is always available to you. It lives within you like a quiet harbor. Even when the surface of your life feels stormy, deep down, there is calm. Can you feel it? That still point inside, that place that remains untouched by the chaos of the world. Rest there now. 4. Take a moment for gratitude. Simple, gentle gratitude for this breath, for this heartbeat, for this warm, safe place, for the ocean of consciousness that holds you, for the shore you can always return to. 3. Now begin to see it in your mind's eye. A rocky coastline, waves crashing against ancient cliffs, a small village of colorful houses huddled together against the wind, and high on the cliff, standing tall and solitary, a lighthouse. Its beam sweeps across the darkening water, constant and faithful. Can you see it? Can you hear the waves? 2. Your body has carried you faithfully through this day. Every cell has worked for you. Every breath has sustained you. Now it's time to give your body the rest it has earned. Release completely. Sink deeper. 1. Let go of everything now. Surrender to this moment. As the story unfolds, allow yourself to drift like a boat on gentle swells. You are safe. You are held. You are home. And now we travel to the lighthouse at the end of the world. Tide's End is not on any tourist map. It sits at the tip of a rocky peninsula that juts into the cold northern sea like a finger pointing toward emptiness. The village is small, perhaps 30 families, maybe less. Everyone knows. Everyone. They have for generations. These are fishing people. Salt water runs in their veins. The ocean's moods dictate their lives. When the sea is calm, they fish. When storms come, they wait. It is a hard life, but it is theirs, and they know no other. At the highest point of the peninsula, where the cliffs rise steep and jagged from the churning water below, stands the lighthouse. It is old, built over a century ago from white stone and painted with a red stripe that spirals up its tower. Every night, without fail, its light sweeps across the dark water, a beacon, a warning, a promise. We are here. You are not alone. There is a way home. The lighthouse keeper's name is Elias Thorne. He is 71 years old, with a weathered face and hands rough from decades of work. His hair is white, like sea foam. His eyes are the color of storm clouds. He doesn't talk much, never has, but everyone in Tide's End knows his story. 40 years ago, Elias was not the lighthouse keeper. He was a fisherman, like his father and grandfather before him. He had a wife, Margaret, and a daughter, small and bright-eyed, named Clara. They lived in one of the colorful houses down in the village, a blue one with yellow shutters that Margaret had painted herself. Elias would leave before dawn to fish and return at dusk to find his girls waiting, Margaret with dinner ready, and Clara running to meet him at the door. It was a simple life, a good life, until the storm. It came without warning, as the worst ones do. Elias was out with the fishing fleet when the sky turned black and the wind rose like fury. The boats scattered, each trying desperately to reach the harbor before the full force hit. Elias made it back, barely, his boat limping into port with torn sails and a cracked mast. But Margaret and Clara had been on the cliff path, coming back from visiting Margaret's sister in the next village over. The wind caught them. The rain made the path slick. No one knows exactly what happened, but when the storm cleared, they found Margaret's scarf caught on a rock halfway down the cliff. They never found Clara's. The sea took them both and gave nothing back. Elias stopped fishing after that. He couldn't bear to go back out on the water, couldn't bear to look at the sea that had taken everything from him. For weeks, he barely left the blue house with yellow shutters. The village tried to help, brought food, sat with him. But grief is a lonely country, and no one can walk that path for you. Then one day, old Thomas, the lighthouse keeper at the time, came knocking. "I'm getting too old for those stairs," Thomas said bluntly. "My knees are shot. The town council says I need to retire." "I'm sorry to hear that," Elias said, not really listening. "They need a new keeper," Thomas continued. "Someone reliable, someone who won't leave, someone who understands what that light means." Elias looked up then. "Why are you telling me this?" Thomas met his eyes. "Because you need a purpose, Elias, and because you, more than anyone, know what it means to need a light in the darkness." And so, Elias became the lighthouse keeper. That was 40 years ago. Every day since, Elias has climbed the 147 steps to the top of the lighthouse. Every evening, he lights the great lamp and checks its mechanisms. Every night, he watches the beam sweep across the water, cutting through fog and darkness. He has never missed a night, not one. The villagers call him faithful, dependable, A bit strange, perhaps, living up there all alone, but they don't know the real reason Elias tends the light so carefully. They don't know that every night, as he stands in the lamp room watching the beam turn, he whispers the same words. "I'm still here, Margaret. I'm still here, Clara. Can you see the light? Can you find your way home?" He knows it's foolish. He knows they're gone, but the lighthouse is all he has. And keeping the light burning is the only way he knows to hold on to them. Tonight is different. Tonight, as Elias climbs the stairs, as he has thousands of times before, there is a heaviness in his chest. He is tired, more tired than usual. Not just physically, though his knees ache and his back protests with every step. It's a deeper tiredness, a soul tiredness. 40 years is a long time to grieve. He reaches the lamp room at the top and goes through his routine automatically. Check the fuel, clean the lens, light the wick, set the mechanism turning. The great beam comes to life and begins its eternal rotation. Sweep, pause, sweep, pause, sweep. Elias stands at the window, looking out over the darkening sea. The sun has just set, painting the water in shades of deep purple and fading gold. "I'm still here," he whispers, as he does every night. "Can you see the light?" But tonight, something happens that has never happened before. A voice answers. "We see it, Elias. We've always seen it." Elias spins around, his heart hammering. Standing in the doorway of the lamp room is Margaret. She looks exactly as she did 40 years ago. Her dark hair, her kind eyes, the blue dress she was wearing that day. She is glowing softly, as if lit from within, not by the lighthouse beam, but by some other light, something gentler, something that doesn't cast shadows. "Margaret?" Elias's voice breaks. "How?" "Shh," she says, moving toward him. Her feet make no sound on the floor. "We don't have much time. The veil is thin tonight, and I was given permission to come." Tears stream down Elias's weathered face. "I've missed you. God, I've missed you so much." "I know," Margaret says softly. She reaches out, and though her hand doesn't quite touch him, he feels warmth. "And I've been with you, Elias, every day, every night." "Where's Clara?" Elias asks desperately. "Is she?" "She's safe," Margaret assures him. "She's waiting, but she wanted me to come to you first." Margaret moves to the window, looking out at the beam sweeping across the water. "You've kept the light burning," she says, "all these years, never missing a night. Do you know how many ships you've guided safely home? How many lives you've saved? I didn't do it for them. Elias says hoarsely, I did it for you, for Clara, hoping somehow. I know, Margaret says, but Elias, my love, you need to understand something. She turns to face him, and her eyes are infinitely compassionate. We didn't need the light to find our way home. We were already home. We've been at peace from the moment we crossed over. Elias feels something cracking inside him. Then I've wasted 40 years. No, Margaret says firmly. You haven't wasted anything. But you kept the light for us when you should have been keeping it for yourself. I don't understand, Elias whispers. Margaret moves closer again. You've been holding on so tightly to us, to your grief, that you forgot to live, Elias. You've been frozen in that one terrible day, keeping vigil for ghosts who don't need your vigil. But if I let go, Elias's voice trembles. If I stop grieving, doesn't that mean I've forgotten you? Oh, my love, Margaret says, and her voice is so tender it breaks him. You could never forget us. We're part of you, but grief is not love, Elias. Grief is grief. Love is something else entirely. The beam sweeps past them, and in its light another figure appears. Clara. But not the small child Elias remembers. She is grown now, a young woman, or perhaps the idea of one, what she would have become. Papa, she says, and her voice is like music. Elias falls to his knees. Clara, my little Clara. She kneels beside him, and though she is made of light and memory, her presence is as real as anything he's ever felt. I'm not so little anymore, she says with a gentle smile. I've been growing up, just in a different place. I'm so sorry, Elias sobs. I should have protected you. I should have a period. Papa, no, Clara says firmly. It wasn't your fault. It was never your fault. It was just what happened. And what happened next is we found a beautiful place. We're happy there. But I needed you, Elias says. I still need you. I know, Clara says, and we've been here, Papa. In every sunrise you watched from this tower, in every bird that came to rest on the railing, in every warm day and every calm sea. Margaret kneels on his other side. But Elias, you have to let yourself live again. Not forget us. Never forget us, but live. I don't know how, Elias admits. It's been so long. Start with tomorrow, Margaret says. When the sun rises, go down to the village. Talk to people. Really talk to them. Accept their kindness. Let them in. The Lighthouse, Elias starts. We'll be fine, Clara finishes. You've taught young Thomas's grandson everything you know. He's ready to take over. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. It's time to come down from the tower, Elias, Margaret says, gently. It's time to return to the world. Elias looks at them both, these two lights of his life. Will I ever see you again? He asks. One day, Margaret promises, when your time comes, But that day is not today, my love. You still have years ahead of you, good years, if you let yourself have them. Live for us, Papa, Clara says. Live the life we didn't get to. Love for us. Laugh for us. Be happy for us. That's not forgetting, Margaret adds. That's honoring. That's love. Elias closes his eyes, and for the first time in 40 years, he allows himself to truly feel everything. The grief, yes, still there. Perhaps always will be, but also the love, so much love, and beneath it all, something he thought had died with them, hope. When he opens his eyes, Margaret and Clara are fading. We have to go now, Margaret says, but remember, Elias, we're never far. Look for us in the light. I love you, Elias says desperately. I love you both so much. We know, they say together. We love you too, always. And then they're gone. Just Elias, alone in the lamp room, with the beam sweeping endlessly across the dark water. But something has changed. The heaviness in his chest has lifted, not gone entirely. The grief will never be entirely gone, but lighter, manageable, transformed into something that doesn't trap him anymore. The next morning, for the first time in 40 years, Elias doesn't immediately climb back up the tower after breakfast. Instead, he walks down into the village. The fishermen are preparing their boats. They look up in surprise as he approaches. Morning, Elias, old James says, cautiously. Everything all right with the lighthouse? Everything's fine, Elias says, and then, I was wondering, could you use an extra pair of hands today? I used to be pretty good with nets. The men exchange glances, then James grins. Well, sure, if your knees can handle it. We'll find out, Elias says, with a small smile. The first real smile in decades. Over the following days and weeks, Elias begins to return to life. He still tends the lighthouse, still keeps the light burning, but he also fishes with the fleet, has dinner with neighbors, tells stories to the village children. He speaks of Margaret and Clara often, but now with warmth instead of only pain. He tells the children how Margaret could predict weather by watching the birds, how Clara loved to collect shells on the beach. He keeps them alive, not through grief, but through memory, through love. One evening, several months later, Elias stands at the top of the lighthouse as the sun sets. Young Thomas Whitmore, the grandson of the old keeper, stands beside him. He's been training to take over. You really think I'm ready? Thomas asks nervously. I do, Elias says. You know the mechanisms. You understand the importance. You'll be a fine keeper. What will you do? Thomas asks. Elias looks out at the sea. The water is calm tonight, reflecting the pink and orange sky like a mirror. Live, Elias says simply. Just live. The beam begins its rotation, and Elias watches it sweep across the water. But this time, he doesn't whisper his nightly vigil. Instead, he simply says, "Thank you for everything, for the love, for the light, for the chance to start again." And somewhere, in some place beyond seeing, Margaret and Clara smile, because the light they needed him to see was never the lighthouse beam. It was his own. Tonight, as you rest, imagine yourself standing at the shore. The day is ending. The sky is painted in gentle colors. Before you, the ocean stretches endlessly, and somewhere out there, a lighthouse beam sweeps across the water. A constant light, a faithful beacon. Think of the things you've been holding on to, the griefs you've carried, the losses you haven't released. Know that remembering doesn't require suffering. Know that love doesn't need grief to prove its depth. Know that you can honor what was while still embracing what is. Like Elias, you can come down from the tower. You can return to the world of the living, bringing your memories with you, not as burdens, but as treasures. The lighthouse still stands, the light still shines, but you don't have to keep lonely vigil anymore. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to heal. You're allowed to be happy again. Breathe in the salt air. Feel the sand beneath your feet. Listen to the waves, eternal and rhythmic. They take away, yes, but they also bring gifts, shells, smooth stones, pieces of beauty. Life is like this, loss and gift, grief and joy, ending and beginning. All of it true, all of it part of the pattern. Let yourself be held by this rhythm now, in and out, like breath, like waves, taking away, bringing back. The lighthouse beam sweeps across the water, not searching anymore, just shining. Because that's what lights do, they shine, not because they're trying to find something, but simply because it's their nature. Let yourself shine too. Not for anyone else, not to prove anything. Just because it's your nature. You are light, dear friend. You always have been. Even when you couldn't see it, even in your darkest nights. The light was always there, waiting patiently for you to remember. Sleep now, rest deeply, let the ocean rock you like a gentle parent. Let the lighthouse watch over your dreams. Tomorrow, you can come down from whatever tower you've been keeping vigil in. Tomorrow you can return to the world, bringing your love with you. But tonight simply rest. The light is burning, the way is marked, and you are safe, always home. Sleep, dear friend, the tide is turning, and with it, so can you.